Thank you, Tony. Appreciate you and Susan for all the hard work you do, not only for myself but for the players, and putting that in, because I wouldn't nominate myself. So I'm sure you guys did all that work. But thank you. Appreciate what you do. After reviewing the film and coming in here, really kind of disappointed and little unhappy with some of the undisciplined play that we had from this past week. And not to take away from so many players that did a great job, and really defensively was a very good effort once again. I felt like the guys were really dialed in, detailed, and executed at a very high level. Offensively, there's some things we've got to get ironed out, and it just felt like it was a person here, a person there, just undisciplined play. And anytime you have 10 penalties, 3 turnovers, 4 fumbles, and you do that at home, it just shows you that attention to detail was not there. And we go on the road a week before and play in a hostile environment and have 2 penalties and play relatively clean, and we play at home against Youngstown and put that kind of play out there. It's not very good. There's so many things we need to improve on. The positive side was when we did have protection, which the protection was relatively solid. There was a couple sacks in there, one or two even on Will. One he has to throw hot. One we had a guy open. He has got to throw the ball. But other than that, Will really did make some exceptional plays. And then there were some things that we got to get better at. The interceptions, they're not all on him, and they weren't stellar plays by him. He made a lot of fantastic plays, but the interceptions are not completely on him as well. We have to play better, and that's what I suspected post-game when I talked to you in the press conference, that I felt like we need to play better around him, and that showed up a bit on Saturday. So it's a matter of getting everybody on the same page. Again, it's not a matter of are we able to do it, or we're talented enough to do it, and there's no excuses. We just got to play better. We've got to be more disciplined, and again, the attention to detail, the little things, that it's always a person here and a person there that's throwing us off offensively, and we need to put that together.
Was that a result of not understanding what else is seen on the defense in front of him?
No.
As opposed to just not paying attention to detail?
No.
Mark, there was a lot of talk last year when Liam was here about the outside zone run scheme and how he wanted to do that, and then he kind of went away from it. Was some of this adjustment to be expected as you all emphasize that, and I guess how is that going?
Same. I agree. We had a discussion about that this morning with Rich and Zach, and we'll continue to get better at it. There's a couple of them that were targeted that were not well designed plays. You know what I mean? That they had numbers and wasn't good. We need to get out of it. And there's, that's a bit of it, John. There's a few plays here and there with the outside zone that we got to iron out with our targets. There's things where we're running it, and then couple just the movement up front that we should be able to handle. We didn't play our best up front, with the offensive line, and we got to continue to improve.
How was Eli? He had some pretty big shoes to fill. How have you seen his progress, in his play just the first 3 weeks?
Just was talking to Eli in the coffee room about 10 minutes ago, and he and I had another good discussion, and he's doing a pretty good job, and he can be a really strong leader, and he just had a good discussion, and he will continue to help push that group and bring them along. And as I just mentioned to you, that's something that he understands too. He's like, just the little things, little things in practice, starting to show up on Saturday, and so we just got to do a better job. But Eli's doing it; he's playing well.
Talking to Rich on Saturday about the starts of games. Of course, you guys have finished strong, but to you, looking back at the film, do the starts of games offensively concern you, or do you feel like you guys need to get out, faster in these games?
Well, defensively, we couldn't have probably started any faster. I think it was 5 out of 6 possessions. They were 3 and outs. if I'm not mistaken, something like that. But yeah, offensively, we had some drives stall, first couple, and we need to capitalize on that. We had the long drive in the first quarter that ended in the interception that we need to execute better, not just with the quarterback.
Mark, any update on JJ and his Tayshawn? Do you expect him to be back Saturday?
JJ will be week to week. He will not. It doesn't look like he'll be able to play this week. And Tayshawn, hopefully will be back.
Mark, on the defensive side, you've had a couple of youngsters that have had to step into some key roles. Lovett in the back, but obviously with JJ not going, Keaton has gotten more snaps. What have you liked about him as he gets more entwined in the defense?
Yeah, Keaton is one of those guys. He has a good understanding. He has a good feel for the game at that position. You've heard me talk through the years that there's a lot on that guy as well. And he's one of those guys that has good instincts. As he gets reps, he'll get better and better and start producing the plays that some of our outside backers have over time. Right now, he's just really good and solid. And as he gets reps and more confidence, he'll get better and better.
Mark, you mentioned after the game about wanting to run downhill. Is that an adjustment you want to see from the running backs, or is that just more go with offensive line?
It all fits together. There's certainly things we could do better at the running back position, and there's holes that we could create better as well.
Did you get as many of the young guys in the game Saturday as you'd like? I know you'd always like to have more reps, but you were looking forward to that.
Yeah, we got some good guys, some good reps, but we would have liked to have seen more. And again, unfortunately, couldn't completely pull away, and you want to just get better. We were just working on ourselves constantly, and there's a good rotation in there, but probably not as many reps as we'd like.
The red zone, couple appearances, not enough touchdowns, I think, by your standard. How do you change that? How do you remedy that problem?
Yeah, just everything tightens up in there. Things happen quicker. The decisions have to be quick by the quarterback. Play calls. Putting them in good position. Executing at a higher level. Just the one late in the game in particular, 1st and goal on the 3, and we got to be able to punch that in.
Looks like Alex Safari's going to move to a linebacker position. What have you seen out of him to really impress you?
Yeah, Alex has been playing that position, so we, again, without getting overly complicated, but that position is a nickel/Sam. So it's a matter of what we call it on 1st and 2nd down. But he's been playing that position. It's just a matter of whether we decide to go with a big guy or that defensive back.
Mark, when you turn on the tape, Northern Illinois quarterback Rocky Lombardi, I know he might be questionable this week. What do you see from him as a player?
Yeah, he's a really good player. He looks like he slid and something happened, maybe to an ankle or a knee or a leg. I'm not sure, but he came out right after that, and then Hampton went in and he went on to throw 2 touchdowns and keep him in the game. Gave him a good chance. So I'm not sure, but Lombardi's a really good player with some good experience, and he's kind of a crafty guy. You could see his comfort level in that pocket early in that game, just the way he was directing things, even a simple little out pass, buying time, creating space for his wide out, and then later another one where he bought time and kind of directed a broken play, for a touchdown or to the 1, I think it was. But really good player.
Did you get a better look of them since they played in SEC foe the week before?
I don't know if better. The film. People have a tendency to do what they do. We've watched them. In the off season, watched them now, and we got 3 games to look at, so it's good film.
Mark, at this point, tell us what you know and what concerns you about Northern Illinois.
Again, and you hear me say it every week, no matter who we're playing. What concerns me is us. I'm not. That doesn't ever change. It's about us and being more disciplined and being more efficient and having a good practice and having a great intensity about us. And I'm not saying it was a whole team, but it doesn't matter. You know, you don't know what any one player or any one play is going to affect the outcome of a game, and I didn't feel like we were as consistent as we needed to be on Saturday.
Seems like that's going to be the theme of your practice this week, is paying attention to detail.
That's going to be part of it.
Darren Henry Young played his first game with you all Saturday. What was your impressions of him?
Pardon me?
Darren Henry Young
Yeah.
made his debut on Saturday.
Yeah.
What were your impressions of him?
Yeah, he did a few good things, you know, and hopefully we'll continue to get more out of him.
Some of those throws, I know you talk about Will progressing from one year to the next. Are you starting to see that really come alive on Saturday?
He really, you know, honestly, he made some amazing throws again on Saturday. Really, just the talent just jumps out at you. Just the way, you know, he when he gets moved off his spot and still have the awareness and the arm talent and just the way he throws some of them, just really talented thrower, and made some amazing plays that kind of go unnoticed, you know, in a game like that.
Mark, what's the next step for him? What do you want to see now from him?
Well, you know, I think it's not just him. I mean, and I'm not bailing him out, but on the interceptions and some of that, we need to play better around him. You know, and some guys need to step up and play more precisely. And you know, so I think, you know, him, you know, holding the young wideouts accountable, you know, all the little things, and continue to grow and you know, because it only takes one guy. You know, you've heard the frustration of me talking about a guy here, a guy there. Well, that's all it takes. You know, you need everybody on the same page. That's why this is the ultimate team sport. I mean, you have to have everybody on the same page or it's not going to work. And, you know, so I think there's a lot of little things. He threw one, you know, off balance without, you know, his footwork being correct, but it was also a bad route, you know, so there was a combination of things on that. So, you know, we'll continue to grow.
Mark, are you happy with how you've gotten the tight end involved in the offense through 3 weeks?
Sure. I mean, I think, you know, there's, you know, some good things they're doing, but again, I think they're too inconsistent as well. I think they could be a really strong point for us, and I don't think they're, you know, as strong at the point of attack as they can be as well in the run game, and they could help us and do more. You know, as a group, they've done some good things, but just like most of our team, we could be better.
Mark, Octavius Oxendine obviously remade his body. Is that paying off in terms of, you know, more dynamic pass rushing? Has he given up anything in run defense?
No, run defense, we've been pretty stout. So, you know, I think he's playing really good, and, you know, it's a matter of maintaining that through this season as he get more and more wear and tear and continue to be able to play at a high level. We're able to rotate some guys, which helps. But, yeah, he is quicker and playing more explosive.
It seems like it's Will Saunders, who I don't recall being a highly recruited guy. He's played pretty well.
Yeah, Khalil's one of those guys that has some length, and you've heard me talk about before, like with Phil Hoskins, the guys with that kind of length and can play looser and have some quick twitch, you know, along with a big, longer body that kind of helps us.
What does it say about your defense that they didn't convert any third or fourth downs? You haven't really given up any long drives, but you've done it without sacks, tackles for loss. Yeah,
I mean, part of that is, you know, we need to get home, but part of it is they're getting the ball out too, you know, and being creative and not just sitting back there. So, you know, the sacks, the tackles for loss, turnovers will come if we continue to play at a really high level, and they're playing pretty strong right now. You take out, you know, the one go ball, you know, which was a technique issue, and you add the penalty on top of that, and then the screen. It's a pretty darn complete game.
Mark Carrington made two big plays that directly took away touchdowns. He got kind of thrown into the fire as a young player. Could you describe his development and what he's done?
Yeah, he has really taken a step this year. You've heard me talk about preseason. I felt like he was. I was confident, as he should, you know, just with progressing. You know, felt like he's stronger. He's playing much stronger as well. You know, he's winning those competitive matchups, and he's winning his fair share. And if he gets beat, you know, like Saturday, he came right back and made a huge play. You know, and that's his competitive nature. So I really like the way he's, you know, stepping up and competing right now.
Is there an update on Jatom playing?
As I mentioned last week, he was week to week. So he was out there a bit last week of practice, wasn't quite going to be effective enough, so we'll see how it goes this week.
As an old defensive backs coach, how pleased are you, especially with the injuries you've had back there? If I'm not mistaken, you're one of only 2 teams in the entire country that's not given up a passing touchdown yet.
Yeah, they're playing good as a unit, but the defense in general is playing good. You know, and as I mentioned, the guy here, guy there, maybe offensively or even defensively this year during the year, you know, when you get, it only takes one person messing up, you know, to get us thrown off. And those could be little things that you don't really always see, whether it's rush lanes or, you know, contain and just you know, you got to play good as a group and be very unselfish. And I think, yeah, they're playing good on the back end, but it's really the whole structure that's been successful.
After watching the film, this is the first game that we've seen Jordan Love in a starting role. We got a lot of time in Florida. What did you see out of him? What did you like from this game?
Yeah, Jordan again is very. He's getting better with every opportunity, getting more confident, getting a good feel for the game. He's one of those guys you could see him just playing faster with the snaps under his belt, and very athletic young man, and you know, I think got a really bright future.
Mark, you're activated following up on your thoughts about being named the honorary coach of the Good Works team.
Well, you know, it is an honor to be the honorary coach of the Good Works team. I always just try to do my part, you know, put my head down and go to work, and there's enough to do to keep me extremely busy, but I also like giving back, and I've attached myself to the UK Children's Hospital really since day one, and it's an honor for us to be a part of that and to help in any way we can. You know, really since the first day we've been here, and my staff has really chipped in and done an awful lot as well. And as I mentioned at the you know, one of the functions we have every year, it just takes any of us to have our child be sick and spend any time over there, and you can see why it's pretty easy to attach yourself at the Children's Hospital.
Speaking as a veteran who's been laid up over here at the VA, are there any thoughts about you and the players going over to the VA here during Veterans Day to
Sure.
lift the spirits of those?
Yeah, I think it would be a great idea, you know, and our players give back a lot and do a lot as well, but that's certainly something that you can also attach yourself to.
Is that kind of charity work something you had envisioned when you first became a head coach? Is that something you had kind of looked forward to doing all along?
Well, you always try to do what you can and always have. I think when you're in a position like that, you know, it's you know, you should, you know, give back and try. It's very hard to get spread very thin, you know, and that's something that I've mentioned, I've been honest about. I mean, it's hard, you know what I mean? It's hard finding balance in these positions, you know, especially, I mean, it is what it is. I sit here and cry about it, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot to do.
Mark, we heard your review of the film, but even more important, what was Mom's?
Yeah. Well, the tight end's caught a few passes, so she was, you know, no, Mom, she was. It was really good to have her here. Not sure how many football games she'll be able to attend anymore, so that may be her last one. You know, don't worry, she'll be glued to her couch watching them all, but she'll be tuned in. But maybe the last one in person. It was great to have the whole family here.
Mark, when we talked to Kedron after the Florida game, he said he wouldn't have come here. He didn't think you all could be really special. What was your pitch to him as a guy who had played so much in the SEC already, what you could do to take him?
Well, I don't know the pitch, but I mean, for him, it's a matter of showing him the film, showing him what we do. With the older guys, it's about, you know, exactly showing him what role we think he could play within our system. You know, because they're done with the, you know, coming out of high school and, you know, all the fancy stuff. You know, generally the transfers are really looking at where do I fit into their system and how are they going to use me. And those kind of guys are enjoyable to recruit, because for us it's just a matter of showing them the film, showing them what we've done to help, you know, other guys reach their goals and be successful in this league and be successful at the next level.
Did it help them that you already had Jacques and they had that relationship?
Yeah, it did help. Yeah.
On the other side of that, as a coach, I mean, you could have players leave too at the end of the year and have had players leave. Does that go into your thinking at all during this season? Hey, we need to give this guy a shot because he might go someplace else, or is that something you can't worry about during the year? You just worry about after the season's over?
No, I think that's fair to say that, yeah, because as I mentioned to the coaches, I mean, sometimes we spend years, years recruiting these guys. And they're really good players. And you also have to, really take time with the players and help them understand that a lot of these guys are going to be very successful. And if they're not successful right now, then let's talk about it, address it, and see where they need to improve, and really help them improve. Because you get caught up as coordinators and position coaches, you get caught up with the game plan. We get caught up with winning, which is ultimately most important. But we can't forget about development and bringing those guys along. And I think a guy like DeKel is a great example of that. As I told DeKel last couple of weeks, like you can be one of the a great player here. It's just a matter of when, and continuing to stay positive and work extremely hard so when they get that opportunity, how are they going to play? And you've heard me mention in here many times, it's not just a matter of how they play, but how do we function as an offense, a defense, or special teams when they're in the game as well. Are they doing all the little things? And that's where we didn't do a very good job this past week as a group, like the wideouts. Yeah, you're going to see the stat sheet and say, wow, they caught a lot of passes, but they did not play to our standard, and they need to improve, and they need to do the little things right, and they need to block, they need to get lined up, they need to execute, and we didn't do to a high enough standard this week.
On that recruiting note, how big of an asset is it, both with the transfers and high school prospects, to show them the NFL tape of guys not only getting there but succeeding like they did this week with Mike?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I mean, we're just so proud of the guys in the NFL, but for us, to show them the history and the way we develop players and put them in a system that they could be successful in is helpful.
Mark, on that wide receiver.
This is late in the game. And I guess considering that, but looking at what Keontae Logan did on the film, and he locked up on the guy and just pancaked him, and stayed on the block pancaked him. I mean, what do you take from that as far as him as an offensive line and his development?
Yeah, I mean that was a good play. It was the last play of the game, I believe you're speaking of. There's things that he can do very well, and that was right at the point of attack, front side. And then there's things that go into being a complete offensive lineman, and he'll be fine. He just needs to continue to work and grow and develop, as I just mentioned. But one play is far from a finished product. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the receiver blocking you mentioned, how big everybody wants to brag on the offensive line, but how has that been? Do you feel, is that something y'all need to keep?
Yeah, I mean, there's one play with a missed assignment, goes for a -4 yards, and everybody's going to say it's on the offensive line. When we have it all sealed up if we do what we're supposed to do. It's probably a 20-yard gain instead it's 4-yard loss, but that's not on the offensive line. That's on a wide receiver completely whiffing.
Is it easier or harder to teach that to young receivers when they're catching a bunch of passes to take?
Oh, they're gonna learn, or they won't be catching passes. Yeah.
We saw Jeremy Flax miss some time in the middle of the game, and you brought in David on the right side earlier, and you on the left. How do you think he played those snaps that he got?
Yeah, he's going to continue to develop and be a good player. Yeah, we still have confidence in David. Like I mentioned earlier, you put him on the left early of need, and it was hard for him, but he's going to play well and continue to be a good player for us.
How do you feel like Horsley's playing there?
I'm not going to put it all on him, but not as good as we need to in this game. Comes out in the Florida game, that whole left side. We bragged on the left side and with him and Jagger and after that game, and we didn't play to our standard this week on that side at all.
Okay, anybody else?